What's up, gangsters? How about 10 minutes of random? Okay, yeah, it's probably going to be more than 10 because I got a lot of stuff sitting here on my bench. So we better get into it. As you can see, I have been working on and making some progress on my Stompy Robot / Lincoln Wright MAK contest entry, and got some asphalt going on there, which I think I'm reasonably happy with. What that is it's a sheet of 1/8 inch cork, and I felt like it had a good texture. It'd be easy to work with, and all of that proved to be true. It was easy to make some cracks in that looked nice and realistic. So I'm overall pretty happy with it. I used a splattering technique with the MAC valve on my airbrush to create what's probably difficult to see, but there is a very fine speckle of gray and brownish gray tones there. You can kind of see on the top of that magnet maybe a little bit, the little speckles. It works good because when you MAC valve MRP, it has a tendency to just land in little round droplets that don't spread out the way that they do when you work with enamels in that technique. So for something that needs to look like asphalt, it's pretty good. I don't know though. I think if I were going to do this again and be real serious about it, I would probably actually create the texture of the asphalt using some fine sand or something. But anyway, I think this is going pretty well, and it's moving along a little faster and more smoothly maybe than I expected it to be. I've got magnets, as I said, planted in the base here, and that is the shizzle. I just love doing the magnet thing. It just makes it so easy to be able to work with stuff temporarily without it moving around on you, and it's just much better. And what I did to plant these is I basically just added the magnet to the bottom of the thing. Then when I want to put the corresponding magnets in the base, drill a hole that's plenty big enough, put a stack of magnets on the bottom of the object, put some super glue in the hole, and stick the thing in place. And once the super glue cures, you remove it, and the magnets are exactly perfectly positioned. And you can see the stacks of magnets there for that. Works great. As you can see, Stompy's friend here, who has no real name, is all primed in, this is Stynylrez white, and I did that for two reasons. One is Lincoln says that, you know, to follow the canon, you're really supposed to start with a white-ish color, for whatever that's worth. But the real deal for me is that, as I've said, I'm going to attempt the lacquer brush painting technique on this thing. And one thing you know about lacquers, if you try to brush paint them, they tend to have a tendency to wake up whatever's underneath them. And that can be, you know, a real issue that, you know, maybe you can take into account and use to your advantage. It kind of ends up being part of the look for that style of painting. But I don't want to blow clear through to plastic, and I'm hoping that the acrylic Stynylrez will act sort of as a less activatable barrier underneath that brush painting. I don't know, we'll see. But that's my plan, I'm sticking to it. So, set him aside. I'm probably going to have to do some jump cuts or something, because some of the other stuff that I want to show you guys requires that I get all of this stuff out of the way. So I'm going to do that and then continue. See, I just don't have enough space. I don't even know where I'm going to put this for the moment. But anyhow, very quickly, while I'm thinking about it, I was going through some of my paints, and a couple weeks ago discovered some K2 urethane clear, or K2, some 2K urethane primer activator, some gravity stuff on my shelf that had gone off. And, you know, people have talked about these 2K activators spontaneously spoiling or, you know, activating themselves, whatever you want to call it. in the bottle. And so I started looking through all of them, and pretty much, yeah, literally all of the ones that I have are going off. You can see the bottom of it there has kind of turned milky. It's done. It's not any good anymore. So it's going in the trash. I had some MRP that was less than a year old. Same situation. The gravity stuff was less than a year old. I looked and saw yesterday that I had some gravity clear. That was some 2K clear urethane activator that was also completely gelled. The only one I have that's not is this can of U-POL activator. And if you could see all of these samples and see the one thing that's different, this is in a can. It's light tight. And I think that may be the deal with these 2K activators, you know, that we buy in hobby size amounts from hobby companies, is that they are exposed to UV, and for whatever reason that causes them to kick slowly over time, and then boom, you have no more. Here's something else I got in the mail. This is pretty cool. I needed a medium gray recently, and Winsor & Newton doesn't have one, so I bought some from this guy, M. Graham and Company, and I am assured by the more knowledgeable heads on SMCG that is very good stuff. So I'm stoked about that. But here's the interesting thing. I needed some raw sienna, and I just naturally went against some Winsor & Newton. And now that I've done it, I see that I mistakenly bought the Winton, which I really don't prefer, but I don't really use burnt or raw sienna a lot, and I don't use it for washes, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. I don't like the Winton stuff as much because it is the less expensive oil. It's like their student grade oil, and I find that it tends to break up a lot more when you make washes out of it. And that's because it has more filler in it. That's why it's cheaper. So I didn't really mean to buy this one, and I'm a little irritated with myself because I thought I did not. But this is the interesting thing. Look at that, how different the two colors are, at least according to the tube. Let's look inside and see if the difference holds. Not so much. That looks like what I would expect raw sienna to look like, and nothing like the picture on the outside of the tube. So that's kind of funny. But I can already tell you that's what this stuff looks like. So they should be the same. I bought them. I bought them both on spur of the moment because I thought, hey, that's weird. The tubes look different, and the little pictures on Amazon. So why not? All right, this is maybe where I'm going to end up doing a jump cut because this box is enormous. I am not a like whore on Facebook. Doesn't, you know, it's one of those things that just kind of happens, or doesn't, I don't know, and I don't get too wound up about it. Obviously, it's fun when people like your stuff, but one reason that I was kind of paying attention in August is because They do every month on weathered models. They do a thing. They do a contest, and they give prizes to the top. They do a thing where they post the top 50 like earners for the month, and the top 3 get prize. And I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. If something I post gets a bunch of likes, then awesome. Well, blew my mind when a picture, and I'll show it to you here, that I posted from my Spitfire build got almost 1,800 likes, and yeah, that's a lot, at least for something like that. And ended up winning the thing, and I collected a €100 prize, a credit from AK, because AK very handsomely and very nicely sponsors the thing. So I took the opportunity to get some stuff that I'd been wanting and needing. You guys know, if you watch any of these little segments, that a bunch of my this is definitely going to be longer than 10 minutes because that's 10 right there. Anyway, a bunch of my MIG stuff had dried up in the bottle or gelled in the bottle or whatever you want to call it. So I was like, hey, why not just take the opportunity to replace it all and get some other stuff for free since I have a 100 euro credit. So I bought a bunch or selected a bunch. It ended up costing me a net of like $30 after shipping and everything, which I thought was super cool. So I now have a bunch of AK products, and so I can sort of compare because, you know, I'd never really used much of the AK stuff. I always felt like the MiG stuff was fantastic to work with for the most part. Just, you know, had this problem of not being usable anymore because it was dried up. So, very cool. Really appreciate AK doing their bit to encourage people. But the real prize for me here, something I've been wanting for a long time, but was never really all that motivated to get it, just, you know, partly because I didn't feel like I needed it all that much, and because it was like 80 bucks, is this right here. Well, looks like these right here. Yeah, I should have just got all this out of here beforehand, but this is kind of fun. You can tell they're books, large books, so you're probably way ahead of me already. Yeah, enormous. The diorama FAQ and some bonuses that I did not expect. AK catalog, Catalogo AK. So that's kind of cool. And then look at this. Got a free ruler. And then what, I don't know what this red book is. Doozy Model Works. I'm not sure what that is, and I'm not gonna get into all that. It's like a long sideways format book. I don't know. By the Roadside 124th Grade Accessories Series. So that'll be interesting. Check that out. Anyway, I will be at some point doing a review of this book, which I'm pretty excited about, and so I'll let you guys know when I get into it. Man, that is a hoss. So that's going to be pretty cool. All right, now definitely doing a jump cut before I open this, before I talk about this next thing. Okay, here we go. So in addition to a few peanuts, which I despise, I swear if I were king for a day, I would make peanuts illegal or make everybody make the biodegradable cellulose ones. But anyway, this box is from John Geigel at Masterpiece Models, and you can see these are some prototypes, early samples of some texture templates. Everybody's getting into this game, and these are cool. He doesn't know if these are going to end up being this heavy cardboard. That's obviously got some disadvantages. I'm trying to talk him into making them out of stainless steel, but we'll see what happens. These things he can cut on his laser, but they take a really long time. But very cool. Got a handle on them to make them a little easier to hold on to, so that's going to be neat. A little bit of product development there. I'm going to do a little bit of testing, and we'll see. But this is the really interesting thing that I've been really waiting for. You can see, yeah, that shape right there may give you a clue as to what's in here. These are more prototypes. You guys may have remembered that I mentioned something about a bunch of wing nuts and screws and hardware type things. Well, this is what's going on with that. These are prototypes of aircraft assembly fixtures that John and I are kind of doing a joint project on, and these are all of the standoffs what we have is a product that combines his laser cutting capability with his 3D printing and resin casting capability. So, and these are not cleaned up at all, but these are the standoffs. These are our resin prints or resin casts from 3D prints. And so anyway, I'm going to be tinkering with these and talking more about that down the road. So there you go. Anyway, that's it. I better stop because I have no idea how long I've been going, but it's definitely longer than 10 minutes. So, bye.